Been money craving, started shoebox saving, made some puzzle placements. I know what this life gon' come with, know that they gon' go and hate it when you make it.
Welcome back to Nationwide Sports Talk. I'm Matt Mackey, live from West Virginia. Wild and one for y'all. Episode 110, College Basketball Edition. Strictly college basketball talking about today because we're breaking down the past 3 days what happened. The upsets on Saturday, the games on Sunday, and then it's tournament time. But before March Madness begins, these teams got to go through their conference tournament and maybe have that last chance to win it and make it to March Madness. So before we break it all down, live from Morgantown, it's Caleb. Say what's up.
What's going on, guys? Hope everyone had a great short week. We are back with episode 110, like Mackie said, full college basketball breakdown. I'm excited about this one. We have a lot to talk about, so let's jump into it.
So people might be asking, what do you mean full college basketball breakdown? We're going to be talking about every Power 5 conference tournament bracket, an upset that we could see happen, a team who can make a run in the tournament, and a team who is easily just dominant at all. Pretty much just like that and simple. And then also, like we always do, we end up with the top 5 of the top 5 best Wooden Award winners. So I think we got a good one on our hands, Caleb. But we got to take a recap real quick. We got to break it back down all the last Saturday when we had some top 25 teams playing in the last regular season games. And the one I'm going to start with, Oklahoma State going into Morgantown, beating West Virginia without Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, this game was very upsetting to watch, to say the least. And, I mean, we talked very highly about not only this game, but this West Virginia team and their advantages they would be able to – what they would be able to do without Cade Cunningham on the floor. And I think that all just kind of disappeared. This Oklahoma State team showed that they were still dominant without the number 1 pick in the draft. And I don't know. It's very surprising to me. I mean, again, Cade Cunningham was out. This WVU team has been, deadly. They've been spot on pretty much all year. And I was expecting, I would say probably a reverse of what this game actually was. I was expecting a 5-point win by WVU, not a 5-point win by Oklahoma State.
Everyone thought W could win that game. No lie. And being a betting man, you can tell. And I was wondering why the spread for WVU was 7.5. I'm like, why is it like that? And then 10 minutes for a tip-off said Cade Cunningham's out. That was why. I said, oh, shit. So that spread went from 7.5 all the way to 10 in a matter of 10 minutes. And obviously me, I'm like, all right, I won't bet the spread, but I do think W can win at home. And looking at the game, watching the game, back and forth, I'm thinking to myself, both teams are solid. Miles Bride, Derek Culver. But then I just kept watching. I'm just thinking to myself, what the hell is wrong with this Morgantown team? Why are they playing sluggish? Why is Derek Culver not playing defense? Jogging down the court, minding his own business. I'm like, you want to win your last game before the tournament starts. You always want to. And you are at home. You think you'd win it.
Well, and I mean, again, like I said, everything kind of matched up for WVU to win this game. I mean, it would have been Bob Huggins' 900th career win at home against a Big 12 team. Your number 6 team in the nation. You try to finish top 10, which luckily they did. But Cade Cunningham's out. I mean, again, everything just kind of adds up for WVU to win this game. And I've really, after sit back and watching WVU all this year, I've really noticed it kind of depends on what their competition's like. They play to their competition. If their competition plays down, like if Cade Cunningham's not in, I honestly would have rather Cade Cunningham be in this game. I think WVU would have played up to competition, played better, and came out with a win. I feel like I wouldn't say took Oklahoma State lightly, but just played down to their competition. didn't play their best basketball. Look at what they played against Baylor. Took them to overtime. What they did against Gonzaga. This WVU team showed that they can play against the best, against the best, but you can't play down to your competition like this, especially not at home.
Yeah, and you definitely beat yourself because, you still forced 20 turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
You beat yourself.
And you turn the ball over, 12 times?
Yeah, and you shoot 5 for 24 from 3. Back to what I said about when they lost to Baylor. Make your adjustments. If you're not hitting your threes, and after you missed a 10th freaking one, you quit shooting them. Drive in, cause a foul, get the and one. You'll still get 3 points out of it, but we both know WS struggling making free throws. So, guaranteed 2 then. Guaranteed 2. Another big game happened in college basketball on Saturday was Illinois going into Columbus against your Ohio State. I'm going to go ahead and say this Ohio State team's overrated.
They've fallen off a little bit. I would say overrated's a little too much. I still think they're a good basketball team. They've finished the season on a rough note. They went out and won some of their hardest games, beating Iowa, and then beating Illinois on the road. It sucks, again, like you said about WVU, it sucks that you end your season, you want to win your season or win your last game of the season, and you don't want to end it on a loss. But I think come tournament time, this Ohio State team will be able to figure it out.
You better hope so. Using Ohio State, you better hope so.
It's not like I don't see it when I watch them. I don't see anything that stands out that needs to be adjusted too much. Like with WVU, the only thing I really see is that they played on their competition. Ohio State, really thing I only see is that they just turn the ball over too much. That's really the only thing. And you stop that, slow down the turnovers. I think this Ohio State team will be fine down the stretch.
Like I said, Caleb, by the way it's looking, there's always an upset first round.
There is. They're still sitting at a 2 seed though, so I think with that 2 seed they'll have a pretty, I would say, fair game first round.
All right, upset that happened on Saturday was Villanova went into Providence and lost by 2. Came out that Gillespie is out for the season towards ACL, so he is not playing with them anymore. And Villanova, another loss for them on the road.
Yeah, it's tough for this Villanova team. What's that? 2 of their last 3, I think they lost on the road, isn't it? They just lost a recent one on the road. Yeah, at Butler.
Yeah. Well, no, they lost all 3 of the last road games.
Yeah, at Creighton too. It's
they lost all 4 of the last road games against St. John's.
If you're Villanova, you're sitting at number 10. You're sitting at a 16-5 record. I think they're first in the Big East. I'm not 100% sure, but so you kind of love where you're at, but losing those 4 road games, it's like we could have been number 3 if we just fix the small things. Losing to Providence by 2, I really don't see where this game went wrong. They out-rebounded them. They shot better than them. Other than 3 points, they shot better than them and turned the ball over less. I don't see where this Villanova team – I guess I'm trying to say I don't see where they go wrong. I don't see how they lose these close ones.
I don't either. I'm used to seeing Villanova, that high-scoring team, putting up at least 70 points a game. But in this one, they put up 52 points. They were literally just sluggish. And, shot 4 for 18 at 3.22%, turned the ball over 8 times only, still won the rebound battle. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Definitely a shocking loss for me, especially to a Providence team. I mean, I think Providence is a decent basketball team, but I don't think they're good enough to beat this Villanova team like this and to hold them to 52 points.
And that's why we said the Big East going to be the best one. I feel like the Big East might be the best tournament this year for college basketball. Looking over at Sunday, we had a nice top 25 matchup. Wisconsin finishing the regular season on the road at Iowa. No loss for Wisconsin, losing that game 77-73. Iowa is, I think, gaining more and more each week, each game, playing better. And it helps when you have a guy named Luke Garza down low getting you 21 points and 16 rebounds.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, again, Luka Garza has gotten better throughout his career in Iowa, but this year he's gotten, I think, better throughout the year. He's taken on a lot of responsibilities. Like, we talked a lot about the guard play not living up to what it needs to for them to win the kind of games that they are expected to win. So he's had to take on a lot more responsibility. But absolutely, I would say him dominating this Wisconsin team pretty much 21 points, 16 rebounds just adds to his resume of, I think, player of the year. I mean, I don't see any other player that wins it over him.
I'll admit he got robbed last year. I think he did. I mean, Obi Toppin won it. I think Luka Garza should have won it last year. So I think he's out for vengeance and wants that award this year for a fact. And he should definitely get it. No doubt about it. An upset that happened on Sunday was number 2 Michigan went into East Lansing, played Michigan State, and lost that game 70-64. This loss to Michigan kind of affected them a little bit, you'd say. So,
yeah, this was very shocking to see. I mean, again, Michigan State is always a team you can't really count out because of Tom Izzo and the culture he's built there. But this year they've really struggled. They've had some highs and some ups and some downs of this season, but this is a good way for them to roll into the Big Ten tournament and a quality win for them to establish themselves as maybe a March Madness threat. I mean, I know they beat Ohio State. I'm not sure what other quality wins they have that would be classified or that would be good enough to get them into the tournament. But this is definitely a win that I think raises some eyebrows. That's like, okay, maybe Michigan State does deserve to sneak into the tournament here.
I mean, they also beat Illinois. They also did that win. So they beat Illinois, beat Ohio State, beat Michigan. They could make a tournament as a 10 seed, honestly, but it all depends on how they play in the Big Ten tournament. I'm saying they at least got to go to the semifinals to guarantee a spot in the tournament. That's my thinking. And you look at the teams also in the Big Ten, there's 4 top teams: Illinois, Michigan, Ohio State, and Iowa. You have 4 top teams. You got to beat one of them in the tournament to at least get a good, better shot by March Madness.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan State's the team I would not be surprised though if they pulled off an upset to get to one of the final rounds of the Big Ten tournament.
Oh, it would not surprise me at all because they've got named Tom Izzo coaching them up.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. So, Caleb, let's break down these Power 5 college basketball tournaments, starting with the ACC. The ACC is another exciting one, you could say. It's an up and down one. Never really shocking if Duke isn't the number 1 seed. I'll admit that right now. But if you look at the squad and what's going on, you have Virginia as the 1 seed. And the number 2 seed is Florida State, 3 seeds Virginia Tech, and 4 seed is Georgia Tech. So all 4 teams get a bye. Louisville, Clemson, and North Carolina also get a bye. And good old Duke starts out as the 10 seed playing Boston College. So looking over at this, so how do you think it's going to pan out for the ACC?
I think it's going to be a good tournament, but I think I honestly think it's just kind of North Carolina's. I mean, out of the ACC this year, I think Virginia's been the best and I would say most consistent team. I mean, I know they've, like every team within college basketball this year, has had some ups and downs of their season, but when you have a guy who is a Hall of Fame coach who runs one of the best defensive schemes in college basketball, who has a system who is pretty much easy to buy into. You play hard for me, I'm gonna lead you to a national championship. He's proven it a couple times, and I don't know. I think this Virginia team's more built to win than any other team in the ACC right now.
They definitely are. Tony Bennett is a hell of a coach, no doubt about it. He knows how to pair his teams, and nothing really, I feel like, affects the Virginia basketball program hard. If that makes sense. They don't go out there and recruit those 4 or 5 stars all the time. They'll get 4-star guys and make them 5-star players. No doubt about it. And I think that's the problem and why you see a big change in team culture-wise, also as like team dominance. Because each team, Baylor, Gonzaga, don't just have 5 stars. They have those 4-star players who are seniors right now. Not that one and done bullshit. And that's affected a lot of teams. Duke, UNC, Kentucky, and it's guys who don't care. Virginia recruits guys who care and want to stay and build a program. And look what they've done in the past 3 years. They won a national title already. They won ACC 3 out of the last 4 times. Dominance. And I think this Virginia team has no trouble at all in the AC tournament.
Yeah, I want to say probably only team I could really see giving them too much trouble, I think, would be, I think, either Florida State or if Duke could make it all the way down into getting a game with them. But again, you go back to that Duke team; they're so young, and that Virginia team, the experience, it counts. It matters, especially in tournament time like this.
I think a team that can make a deep run in this AC tournament is Clemson. I really do. I think Clemson is a nice team, very upbeat, scoring is there, defense is there, and they've had their quality wins to back everything up I'm saying. And I think they can make a good run. I mean, it sucks that they're kind of on the same side as, Virginia, so they play them, if anything, in the semifinals. But I think they can easily come out of Game 5 because they'll play the winner of Pitt and Miami. They can easily come out of that game. And then they play a Georgia Tech team. Georgia Tech team has been up and down all year. They just played well at the very end. And I think they can beat a Georgia Tech team. So when they play in the semifinals against Virginia, I'm looking for a nice game. I'm talking about the best game of the AC tournament.
I could see that. I think for any year that, a team wants to make that run towards the ACC tournament championship, this is the year. You don't have your solidified dominant team within that conference. I mean, I would say your best team is Virginia, yes, but solidified dominant team, you don't have one like you have had in recent years with Duke or with UNC.
100%. So you think Virginia's going to AC tournament?
I think so. I think they'll win it, and that will place their bid for the tournament, big tournament.
All right, let's go over to let's talk about the Big East. It's not Power Five, but it's one of the best ones we like to talk about. The Big East tournament, number 1 seed Villanova, number 2 seed Creighton, 3 UConn, 4 St. John's, and 5 Seton Hall. All 5 teams get a bye on round 1. Then round 2, Seton Hall and St. John's automatically play. So looking at this, Xavier's a 7 seed. And I think that's the team you don't want to play. And
It's good.
oh, and I know that they're not on the side of Villanova, so Villanova got lucky on that one.
I was gonna say it's definitely for Creighton definitely a game to watch because with their suspension of Greg McDermott, I mean, I definitely probably would have picked Creighton to be my favorite to make a run. Uh, just because in the Big East, I would pick an underdog. I think Villanova is obviously the top favorite for everyone, but I like this. I like this Creighton team, and if McDermott wasn't suspended, I would take them. But I think with McDermott suspended, and say he doesn't come back for the Big East tournament or the actual tournament, it's not. I don't think it's going to be good for Creighton. And Xavier, I mean, that would be perfect for them. Butler is a team I think that Xavier could beat probably single-handedly, I would think, and then Creighton would be, I think, the team that they would have a little bit of troubles with. But without McDermott there, I think Xavier could squeeze by them.
That's the thing too. He's not there, and I think
Yeah.
that's a big difference. And that's why I think this Creighton team will not do much in this Big East tournament. I definitely think they can lose that. They'll lose that game against Xavier, without a doubt, 100%. And I think it'll end up being Villanova versus Xavier in that final.
That'd be a good one.
I think UConn's good. UConn's a solid team, but it's just the fact that the consistency of them is not there. Xavier has played consistent all year long. And I think the only reason why they're a 7 seed is because of the COVID stuff. They couldn't play all their games. That's what I think, and because they didn't play all the games that everyone else played.
Yeah, and I would say UConn, I mean, they obviously have a little bit easier of a ride. They wouldn't have to play Creighton, Xavier. But I mean, Providence and DePaul are kind of, I wouldn't say easy teams because Providence just beat Villanova so at home, but it's a little bit easier of a ride than playing this Butler and playing this Creighton team. And UConn, again, playing these teams, playing either DePaul or Providence, what they're known for is their defense, this UConn team, and I think they could focus more on their defense. This UConn team kind of struggles scoring the ball offensively. Xavier really doesn't have any problems doing that. And again, I'm with you. I think that's where Xavier would kind of win that mismatch.
Go over to the Big 12 tournament. Number 1 seed Baylor, 2 seed Kansas, 3 seed Texas, 4 seed WVU, 5 Oklahoma State, and 6 Texas Tech, and 7 Oklahoma. This will be the best tournament in the conference tournament rounds. 100%, that's a fact. I just listed 7 teams in the top 25. So there's that example right there. And you look at them games, it's already set for the quarterfinals. WVU's playing Oklahoma State, and Cade Cunningham will play.
This will be an exciting one. This is what I wanted to see at the end of the year. I think with Cade Cunningham, they play up to the competition. I don't think Bob Huggins is going to go into this Big 12 tournament first round and lose. I mean, I don't see that, especially after them losing that number 2 seed after that Oklahoma State loss, sorry, and the Baylor loss. I don't see it. I see him being on their ass all this week, all yesterday too, and Yeah, I think they're going to be pretty fire up and come out to this Big 12 tournament. I say make a run probably to the championship. I mean, this WVU team, I've ridden high on them all year, but I think this is their time to shine.
It definitely should be. Bob Huggins is known for his players, ready to go for a tournament matchup. He's done that in the recent years, especially back in 2019, the last time they did a conference tournament. And he made that run when he played Texas Tech. That was a Big 12 final, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah. And looking at this first round, and I think W, like you mentioned before, they're going to play up to par. They're going to play their best basketball because they're playing against the best Oklahoma State team.
They know what to fix now too. I mean, you just played them 3 days ago, and you'll be playing them. It'd be like what 4, 5, or 6 once they play them.
A big gap, practice and get ready.
Yeah, so I mean, you have 4 days of practice to correct what was wrong and get ready. I mean, I would assume they're expecting, and I would assume that Oklahoma State knows that the ball is going to be in Cade Cunningham's hands the most. So shut down whatever else happened the last game Saturday. Slow down Cade Cunningham. Sounds a lot easier said than done now I'm saying it, but I think this OU team can get it done.
But do you think Baylor will win it?
Win it all? See, that's a tough one because, again, I think this WVU team, I think they can win it all because of how they played against Baylor. Just close out the game well, finish your free throws, make your free throws. Don't go 1 for 2 from the line or 0 for 1 or whatever the case may be. Make your free throws. Don't make stupid passes. Actually pass the ball in bounds. Don't hit the 5 seconds. Get a stupid turnover. Fix the small things in this WVU team. Man, I think I'm riding too high on this team, but fix the small things, and this team could be Final Four, national championship ready. And if not this year, I definitely think next year, with everyone returning, if everyone comes back, this team next year will be crazy. But
all right, look at the Big Ten tournament. Number 1 seed Michigan, 2 Illinois, 3 Iowa, 4 Purdue, 5 Ohio State, and 6 Wisconsin. First round, you got Minnesota, Northwestern, and Nebraska, Penn State. So looking at every team in seeding wise, I think the one team who should be scared the most is Illinois. Mainly because they play the winner of Indiana and Rutgers. Rutgers can score. Indiana can play defense. They make it past that round, they'll play the winner of pretty much, I think, Iowa or Wisconsin. The team that I think you can make a run is Rutgers.
yeah, I think Rutgers can make a run. I think Michigan State can make a run. But I think looking at it now, I think Michigan State might be my favorite to make a run in this tournament. For them, I mean, you kind of have the easy side if you really look at it. I mean, the best teams you have would be Ohio State, Maryland, and an Indiana team who kind of struggled this second half of the season. Kind of, I would say fell. I wouldn't say fell off, but struggled was the right word. This Michigan State team has 3 quality top-tier wins who looked really good in all 3 games. I think they've gotten better throughout the year. And this would be time for them to gain experience for their young guys. And I think Tom Izzo's in the same position as Bob Huggins. He doesn't want to – he understands what positions he's in. Win this tournament, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to get a tournament bid.
You're
So,
guaranteed a
well,
tournament
you're
bid.
guaranteed a tournament bid if you win it. But if you make a decent run, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a tournament bid. So, Hall of Fame coach and Tom Izzo, either playing Purdue or Ohio State their first game, already upset Ohio State once this year. I'm riding high on Michigan for this one, for me.
I think
Or Michigan State.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I just can't get over their side of the bracket for me. Like, if you get past Ohio State, if Ohio State beats Purdue and then Michigan State beats Ohio State, I mean, they're kind of just guaranteed a spot in that final game for the tournament.
Michigan State's got to get past Michigan first.
What do you mean?
Michigan State plays Maryland first round.
No, Michigan State has a bye first round.
Which one are you looking at?
I'm looking at 20. Oh, this is the wrong one. I am sorry.
Yeah, Michigan State plays Maryland first. Winner of that plays Michigan.
Okay. Yeah. I was wondering why Michigan State had such a easy side of the bracket for this year. I was like, that didn't look right.
Ohio State has a bye, and they play the winner of Minnesota and Northwestern.
Okay. Honestly, I still think Michigan State can make this run, but having to play Michigan, I think, is tough because that Michigan team is good, but I think that win for them at home, I think, makes me feel better about it. I would say.
So
I mean, at least they can get it done. They didn't get swept.
Make a run, knowing that they're on Michigan side.
I think so. I mean, again, with that win they just had over Michigan, helps me feel a lot better about it. But again, I mean, I still feel the same way about Tom Izzo. Like, again, Hall of Fame coach, the culture he's built there. He understands, we haven't had the best regular season, but tournament times where we can either solidify ourselves in the tournament or just say, hey, at least we tried, and if we get a tournament bid, we get a tournament bid. If we don't, we don't. But yeah, I think Michigan State would be the team to, I would say, worry about. I mean, beating Illinois, Ohio State, and Michigan, those are quality wins for a struggling season that they've had, I would say.
I like that. Couldn't agree more. Looking at the most lopsided, weirdest conference in the Power Five, the Pac-12. This has been the weirdest conference to watch, try to follow, because teams have been winning, teams have been losing, and somehow Oregon's still a 1 seed, USC's a 2 seed, Colorado's a 3 seed, and UCLA is the 4 seed. Honestly, I'll be honest with you, Caleb, I don't really know much about this Pac-12 conference because I stopped watching after like December because it was so weird watching. It was so unique and different watching a Utah team beating Oregon and then watching Stanford go out and beat the brakes off of UCLA, but then coming back and losing to Washington. Like, there's no consistency at all. There was no true dominance in this conference at all, so it's kind of hard for me to say who I like to win, but I will go with one team, and USC.
I was gonna say I'd probably have to go with USC if I really like the team to win it this year for their tournament. But I'm with you. I really haven't watched much Pac-12. Pac-12 to me, honestly, Mackie, I'm gonna get a little real right here, and I'm sorry if there's any Pac-12 fans out there. Pac-12 has been such a weird conference to me lately. Football, basketball, just all around, it's been a weird conference to watch. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on out there, but I don't really have much to say about this tournament. So I think USC would be probably my favorite. I wouldn't sleep on this Colorado team either, but I would say USC would be my favorite.
That's the thing. Like, I wasn't sleeping on Colorado either. Like, Colorado's a dominant team from what I've seen, but then they lose the weird games. So it's just hard to go in depth on this conference just because you don't know, and it's very up in the air. So let's kick it off the last tournament. We're going to break down the SEC. This SEC tournament has the number 1 seed as where's it at? As Alabama, 2 seed Arkansas, 3 seed LSU, 4 seed Tennessee, and 5 seed being Florida. My Missouri Tigers are 7 seed, so that's kind of a good thing, but then not, you could say. Looking at this, Alabama has had a great season, but a team I like the most in this tournament is Arkansas. I think Arkansas can win it.
You know, I think Arkansas could win it. They've played, I think, great here recently. They kind of have, I would say, the harder side of the schedule is definitely the other side of the bracket. With Kentucky, Alabama, Florida, Tennessee. So those dominant teams who have been, I would say, really good in previous years or really good this year, they're on the other side. And Arkansas really doesn't have to worry about them. You either play Georgia or Missouri, and then you either play South Carolina, LSU, or Ole Miss. So I think they can find themselves within that championship game. But surprisingly, I kind of want to say Kentucky winning this. I know. I just saw that face. Very surprising, but just hear me out. The way Kentucky has, I wouldn't say played late, but with
Kentucky
how young
first game and beat Alabama.
they beat Alabama their second game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a tough one, but I think I wouldn't be shocked. I'll say that. I mean, same thing with I just hit my ankle. Same thing with Tom Izzo, Hall of Fame coach and Calipari, knows what position he's in. And you got to think about it. This Kentucky team won – I don't have how many games they've won this whole year, but they had a pretty decent year. I mean, not up to Kentucky standards.
They're below 500.
But they're all young. Everyone's either a freshman or everyone either transferred in. No one on that roster has played within Calipari's system before. No one has even played with each other on that roster before. And they're still able to fight and claw in each game they've been in.
Welcome to the one-and-done rule.
But the Kentucky team's never been like that. He's always had some sophomore or some junior on that team. He's had one or two guys leave after their freshman year, but he's always still had sophomores or juniors on that team. This year, he has every single guy on that team is either a transfer or they're a freshman.
2016, all 5 of the starters were freshmen.
Yeah, but he still had reserves, bench players who were sophomores or juniors who had played on the team before. That's still some veteran.
His roster, he has sophomores and juniors. Guaranteed.
But they've all transferred in. They've never played in his system. That's what I'm saying. Everyone who has played on Kentucky's team before in recent years, who was a junior or a sophomore, played on that team before. If they weren't good enough to leave their freshman year, they stayed their sophomore year, and then they usually left after that or stayed their junior year.
You got high hopes for the Kentucky team. I'll go ahead and say you got high hopes.
I do. But
don't get broken.
But I think the only thing I think holding this team back is just how young they are. And with the Shebway down there, I think practicing's made a big difference with him on the court. I don't know.
Really lost the last.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to score with Alabama, but I mean, I still think this Kentucky team.
They lost a lot. They lost the last 2 games.
They were just on a hot streak before those last 2 games, weren't they?
But you said Schweeber's been down there helping to get better in practice. They lost the last 2 games.
They were winning before that.
Yeah.
Baylor lost their last game. Michigan lost their last game. So you're going to say that they're not going to make a tournament run? They're not going to be good in their tournament?
Oh, no. Baylor and Michigan are above 500. And proved to herself to me the whole entire season.
But Kentucky, again, they're still young. What I mean,
Michigan's young.
Michigan?
It's Juwan Howard's second year coaching.
They still have juniors and seniors on their team. Frank Wagner's
New
a
system.
what, junior?
Your argument was that no one's been in Calipari's system, not used to it yet, blah, blah, blah. Juwan Howard's second year coaching.
He's still running the same system that Belon was running.
No.
That's the same exact system Belon was running. You cannot tell me differently.
It is. No coach coaches the same. Going off schedules, workouts, practice. No coach runs it the same.
They run it the same. I am almost certain they run it the same there.
Unless I hear the words
from
Belon
because
system. What coach would say that?
Wasn't Howard under Belon when he?
No.
When he came out of the NBA, he was an assistant under him, wasn't he? For like a year or two before he took the job.
No.
Could have swore he was assistant for at least a year before he took the head coaching job there.
Either if he wasn't there for a year or not, that 1 year, are you going to learn every damn thing? No, you have to learn your own.
I mean, you're not going to learn everything, but this Kentucky team, I'm telling you, if they can beat this Alabama team, they make a run. That's all I'm saying. They beat the Alabama team, they're making a run in this tournament, and they're probably winning it all.
And actually, before he became a head coach at Michigan, he was assistant at Miami.
Well, I knew he was an assistant somewhere. I thought it was at Michigan.
You just got high hopes for Kentucky.
I mean, call it what you want. They beat this Alabama team. I'm telling you, they're 9 times out of 10 winning this SEC tournament.
If they beat Alabama, yeah, I can see that. That's if they can beat Alabama and keep up with them.
But Alabama, they can just score the ball.
Kentucky can't shoot.
They'll be all right. They'll shoot. They'll figure it out.
They better hope so. You want them to have that run.
They'll figure it out.
So Kentucky's your sleeper, and you think they can win it all?
Yeah, if they get past Alabama, 9 times out of 10, they win the entire SEC tournament.
All right, that's a bold prediction, Caleb. I like it. I like it a lot. So that concludes the bracket breakdown, the Power 5 plus the Big East tournament. Give you the top 5, the best 6 ones we gave you, and it was a good one. Not gonna lie, I like doing that, and we'll definitely break down March Madness when the bracket is released on Sunday. But before we leave and end this episode, we got to end it off right and give the top 5 best Wooden Award winners of all time, looking back all the way when it first started. So, Caleb, give me your number 5.
My number 5 is Glenn Robinson from Purdue from his 1993-94 season. He played 34 games, scored 1,030 points, 344 rebounds. In total, he averaged 30 points, 10 rebounds, led Purdue to a 25-7 record, 15-3, first in the Big East, and finished 12th in the final AP polls.
My number 5 is the man Tim Duncan. Played at Wake Forest in 1997. His last year averaged 14.7 rebounds per game and 20.8 points per game. Was a dominant force down there in the ACC, and it got him that Wooden Award and a 2-time ACC Player of the Year, 3-time All-ACC Conference, ACC Tourney MVP, and was the AP Player of the Year.
My number 4 is Christian Laettner in 1991-92. That year, he played 35 games, scored 751 points, 275 rebounds. He averaged 21 points, 8 rebounds, shot above 500% from the 3 and the field, and he helped lead that Duke to a historic run and also winning the national championship that year.
My number 4 came back in 1979. Larry Bird from Indiana State averaged 28.6 points a game, 14.9 rebounds a game, and this is what led up to this great rivalry between the Celtics and Lakers when he played Magic in the NCAA tournament.
My number 3 is, I think, one of the most dominant college basketball players I've seen all around as well. Blake Griffin from Oklahoma, 2008-2009. This year, he played 35 games, scored 794 points, grabbed 504 rebounds. In total, he averaged 22 points, 14 rebounds, and led Oklahoma to a 30-6 record, 13-3, second in the Big 12, and finished seventh in the final AP poll. And he was dominant that year.
You can go ahead and call me biased for this one, Caleb, but you got to admit this man has made a big impact on college basketball. My number 3 is Zion Williamson out of 2019. He averaged 22.6 points a game, 8.9 rebounds a game. The reason why he's on this list, yes, they did not make a Final Four run, but he made an Elite Eight run. Also with him, he changed the whole entire aspect. I feel when a player who's has high standards in high school when he's getting recruited. A lot of talks around him, a lot of publicities around him, and it's pretty much you got to own up to your potential. And he owned up pretty well coming out of high school into college, and his only year he played in college basketball because he dominated. You got to admit, Zion dominated in college, played phenomenal. Yes, he was with a loaded team, but he made a run to the Elite Eight. Lost it, didn't win it all, but you can see he's dominant now in the NBA.
My number 2 is Jimmer Fredette. Played at BYU.
Jimmer.
2010-2011. This year he played 37 games, scored 1,068 points, grabbed 127 rebounds, and assisted 160 points. He averaged 28 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists, led BYU to a 32-5 record, 14-2, first in the MWC, and they finished 10th in the final AP poll. And if I'm not mistaken, they had a pretty good run that year. Sorry. They lost in the second round to, I think, North Carolina, or a really good team who ended up winning the Final Four, making the Final Four or something like that. But he had a really good year. I mean, he was dominant, and he showed out in the tournament as well.
Well, my number 2 is Jimmer Fredette as well. Man was a baller. You pull up a shot, you said Jimmer. Let's be real. Jimmer. And like Caleb said, 28.9 points a game. That last year he won it. It's true. It showed true dominance of a young guy, not known, small conference, small school, and it brought that life back to college basketball. That there's still those young guys out there who can do that. They look all the way back to the recent winners; they're all Power 5 conference players. But then when he came, the small school guys are getting noticed. Like Doug McDermott got noticed when he won it. But before then, it was all Duke, UNC, Kentucky, those kind of players. So I'm glad that Jimmer won it because he deserved it, averaging 28.9 points a game. Plus, he helped the BYU team make tournament. Plus, he helped the BYU team make a run in the tournament. And all years he was there, especially his junior year. So his spotlight was on. It was definitely working for him, and he deserved that award. And he's a hell of a shooter.
Agree. My number 1 is a legend. From Virginia, Ralph Sampson. The reason I put him at number 1 is because he had 2 win award years. They were back-to-back years. I'll give you his 1981 to 82 stats. He also won in 1982 and 1983. For 1981-82, he played 32 games, scored 506 points, 366 rebounds, averaged 15 points, 11 rebounds, helped lead Virginia to a 30-4 record, 12-2, second in the ACC, and they finished third in the final AP poll, losing in the Final Four. And back in that time, they had a game called Game for Third Place. Don't do it anymore, but if you lose in the Final Four, you play the other loser in the Final Four, and you play for third place.
I'd like that.
Yeah.
I know, soccer does that. Baseball, I don't know baseball, but soccer does that with the World Cup, like third place winner kind of thing.
I'm kind of wondering when they stopped doing that.
I don't know. My number one is also a legend, David Robinson out of Navy. He won the award in 1987 for Navy, averaged 28.2 points a game, 11.8 rebounds a game, showed true dominance. And with all those that award he had, he won the CAA Player of the Year twice, AP Player of the Year, Naismith Award winner, Wooden Award winner, two-time consensus All-American. Man, he was a legend in college basketball, especially for Navy. And I never knew he played at Navy, to be honest with you. Never knew that. And I just know his dominance in the NBA with the Spurs, especially when him and Tim Duncan finally teamed up. That was a deadly duo. But he showed dominance, and he got the award very well deserved. I mean, when you average 28 points a game and over 12 rebounds, I think you're going to get it. Don't know what he did in the tournament that year, but I just know they called him the Admiral because he was a general on the court, directed everybody, told everyone what to do, and they all followed him. Hoorah! So, Caleb, do you want to add anything else? You should say peace, love, and goodbyes.
I think that's it. It was a short and sweet episode.
College basketball edition.
Action packed.
See, you want to do an episode this week, or you want to wait till next week when the tournament's out?
We can do like early next week, like this week when the tournament comes out.
All right, we'll definitely do that then. So we'll be back next week to do a breakdown of the college basketball tournament and give you the rundown of the number 1 seeds, the 16 seeds, and give you the upsets. We won't go game for game, battle for battle kind of breakdown because that takes 4 hours if you want to go in depth like that. And I know my viewers don't like waiting around for 4 hours, not even an hour, because I hear complaints about it all the time. Rude. But we give you the information that you think we best will be needed. So with that being said, Caleb, say your peace, love, and goodbyes.
Like Mackie said, we will see you guys later. This one is under an hour, so we won't hear complaints for that one. And we will see you guys next week. Be safe, have fun, and watch college basketball because it's about to be the best time of the year. So
It's bad.
make sure you tune on. Make sure you tune in. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know your top 5 Wooden Award winners of all time, and we will see you guys next week.
Like Caleb, so we'll be back next week giving you a breakdown of the college basketball tournament. Like, subscribe, share, do what you got to do, get the name out there, get the word out there, get the nationwide sports talk out there. I'd greatly appreciate it. I really would. So, with that being said, we'll be back next week giving you all those details of the tournament because it's back, and it's finally here, and it's time to be a good year, good fun time, and the best time of the year, March Madness. I'm Matt Mackey, and I'm peacing out for the week. We'll have a great week here. See you here soon. Peace.
Trying to get out, I'm trying to better these things, but you just all on my thoughts, and I just can't separate.